Homer is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for Dr. Brothers for being here this morning. I want to ask you about an audit from the Office of Inspector General regarding a contract with NVS dealing with technology that the chairman mentioned in regard to a biothreat. Mm-hmm. According to OIG, you may have S&T may have wasted $23 million without getting adequate deliverables. One of the things that the OIG report found was that you had a lot of employee turnover in the program management. Is that an issue?
So right now I don't see that as being an issue. I think that we have new controls that we've put on that. The report recommended that we take 3 types of actions.
Right.
We've taken those actions. We're developing a program tracking. We've improved our program management guide. So I think that we have responded to the GAO in kind. I would mention, though, that this program was stopped after 4 years. And while the way it was stopped may not have been optimal, which is why we actually went to the IG ourselves, technology changes over 4 years. And I mentioned earlier how quickly technology changes. There's another case of rapid technology change in the capability of industry as well.
And I think in your response to OIG, you said that there's still a need for this technology. Is that being pursued through other contracts?
Quite honestly, because it's ongoing litigation, I can't get into a lot of details of this right now.
Okay. I have a couple other questions, too, for you, Dr. Brothers. The President's budget requests a substantial cut to S&T Directorate's budget compared to fiscal year 2015. How do you account for this?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question, please?
The President's budget requests a substantial cut to the S&T Directorate budget compared to fiscal year 2015. And I'm just asking, how do you respond to that reduction?
Well, we support the President's budget. I think this is something that we have to deal with within our capabilities. This gets back to how we prioritize the type of investments we have, and why we can't respond to all threats across the entire domain of impact versus probability of occurrence.
And then my last question is, in a 2012 report by the GAO recommended that S&T develop policies and guidance for reporting R&D activities across the department, noting that DHS didn't even know the total amount being spent on R&D at DHS. Has science and technology developed these policies?
So yes, and so that's what I was mentioning earlier, that part of the problem we had when that report came out was there wasn't a definition of R&D. So when folks were reporting their R&D, they didn't necessarily have the same guidelines for what R&D was. The Secretary has signed out a definition of research and development, which goes along with what the Department of Defense and NASA has as well. And now we are working on a directive to do a data call based on that criteria.
And lastly, so are you confident that S&T has a clear idea of all the research and development that's being done at DHS?
I'm confident that we now have the structures to figure that out.
Are you looking at overlaps, duplications?
We are. So we're going to start having annual reviews. When I was in the Department of Defense, I was part of a team that set up annual reviews of the services, research and development budgets across the department. That is something that we will be doing in DHS as well.
Okay. Well, obviously, we need metrics to show how effective S&T has been. So how would you recommend Congress measure return on the investments in regard to appropriations to S&T?
So we have a portfolio review process. Mm-hmm. That portfolio review process has a variety of metrics in it. We'll be happy to come and brief you on that process.
Thank you very much. I yield the balance of my time, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Thank you, Mr.